Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on the 3rd of May, live on New Zealand Sports Radio. That's right, you can listen to this live or watch us live on Facebook, on our Facebook page, or you can listen to the recording on your podcast as you drive around town. Just search for New Zealand Sports Radio. And what have we got today? Well, the Warriors get the green light. US women's football team do not have their case thrown out for equal pay. Bill Beaumont gets voted back in as the chairman of World Rugby. And we'll find out about how competitive tennis players are, not just on the court, but also on the computers as well. So let's kick off with that football news. Starting over in Australia, the A-League has cleared a major hurdle in its attempts to get back to play. Part of that is that Fox has paid up their $12 million, which they were due to pay. That was due in the middle of last month, so middle of April, but have just come through now at the beginning of May. So it looks like the negotiations between the A-League, the FFA, and Fox have actually made some progress. Does this mean that Fox will continue their full contract? We'll have to wait and see, but it does look like things are heading in the right direction there for football in Australia. Over in the USA, the USA women's footballs have had their unequal pay claim thrown out by the judge. He has kept in claims of discrimination around travel and support staff, that they around the flights and hotels and the unequal treatment they get from the men. But the reason that this was thrown out was because, to quote the judge, the history of negotiations between the parties demonstrates that the WNT, or the Women's Nationals team, rejected an offer to be paid under the same pay-to-play structure as the men's MNT. And the WNT was willing to forego higher bonuses for benefits such as greater base compensation and the guarantee of a higher number of contracted players. Accordingly, plaintiffs cannot now retroactively deem their CBA was worse than the men. The CBA, by reference to that, to what they would have made had they been paid under the MTN's pay-to-play term structure when they themselves rejected such a structure. So that's why the judge has said that basically the women decided to take a different route. Obviously, the women will be appealing this decision. They don't believe that it's obviously the right decision. So this one is going to go on now into next year. That is your football news. I'm going to hand you over now to Stephen for our birthday update.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning, everybody. Grey skies just starting to build here in Auckland this morning, so we could be in for a little bit of precipitation, but it won't spoil 3 birthdays today, hopefully. The SBW of the Women's Oval Ball Code, a one-club NRL career man and finally born in New Zealand, but wears yellow. Will Skelton is an Australian rugby union footballer who plays as a lock for Saracens in the English Aveva Premiership competition. Skelton was born in New Zealand and he is of Samoan descent. He moved to Australia as a child and qualified for Australia through residency. He won 18 caps for Australia between 2014 and 2016. Will Skelton, born on this day, May 3rd, 1992 in Auckland. Will is 28 today. Now, Skelton is also the cousin of Bradley Meeker and has a younger brother by the name of Cam, who is even bigger than he is. And believe you me, he's a very big man. Moving on to the other Oval Ball Code, Jesse Bromwich is a professional rugby league footballer who plays as prop for the Melbourne Storm and in the NRL and for New Zealand and the New Zealand Māori at international level. He has played his entire national rugby league career to date with the one club, the Melbourne Storm, with whom he won the 2012 and the 2017 NRL Grand Final and the 2010 and 2013 World Club Challenges. Jesse Bromwich, born on this day, 3rd of May, 1989 in Auckland. Jesse is 31 today. And finally, Honey Hiramea is a New Zealand rugby football player who has represented her country in League, Rugby Sevens and Rugby Union 15s. Due to her multi-sport career, Hiramea has been referred to as the Honey Bill Williams in reference to her New Zealand male counterpart, Sonny Bill Williams. Araneta Honey Hiramea, born this day, the 3rd of May, 1981. Honey is 39 today. I'll be back shortly with league news. Back to you, Paul.
And happy birthday to all of them. Hopefully they stay safe and have a nice cake in their bubbles today. Moving on to rugby union news. And the big news, obviously, is that Bill Beaumont has been voted back in. He's been voted back in by a margin of 28 to 23 votes. That is much larger than I think a lot of us were expecting. The details of that is something that we'll be talking about on #Rugby Chat on Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. here on our Facebook page of New Zealand Radio Sport. Also, you'll be able to listen to that as a recording on the podcast afterwards as well. But yes, he has he's taken this out 28 to 23. I think a lot of people will be surprised by how some of these votes have fallen. Obviously, it is a secret vote, so there's a lot of guesswork in there, but also we have had some unions come out and publicly say how they have done their votes. There is a little bit of controversy, though, as Germany has come out and complained about how the European area 2 votes were allocated, saying that not all the unions were consulted properly before that decision had been made. So interesting there from Germany, they've made that allegation. So there may be a bit of a review, but when we're talking about a margin of 5 votes, that 1 vote or 2 votes there would not have made the difference in the end. In other rugby news, Brumbies coach Dan McKellar has come out and has backed up a cross-Tasman Super Rugby competition, with perhaps also including Japan as well. There's been quite a lot of talk out of Australia about this structure. It's been something that Australia have wanted for a number of years, in all honesty, but it's definitely ramped up in the amount of talk about it going on. So it's we're going to have to see how much mileage there is behind this, because a lot of the TV money for Stanzard does come out of South Africa. But with travel restrictions looking to be in place for a long time to come, it could make that untenable. Let's move over to our our league news now. I'm going to hand you back to Stephen.
Thanks again, Paul. The Warriors have finally gotten the green light from the Australian government to fly across the Tasman in time for the resumption of the NRL season. The NRL confirmed this morning that the Warriors received approval from the Australian Border Force to travel to Tamworth in regional New South Wales, where they will see out a mandatory 14-day quarantine period. About 50 Warriors players and staff will get on a charter flight tomorrow, which is today, to be based in Tamworth, where they have also been given the clearance by the federal and New South Wales governments to train in quarantine. ARL chairman Peter V'landys said the outcome was great news for league's efforts to resume its season. This is an excellent outcome for rugby league and another step towards competition resuming on May 28th, V'landys told the NRL.com. I want to thank the federal and state governments, in particular Border Force and NRL.com. I want to the New South Wales Emergency Operations Centre for the assistance in making the Warriors' arrival a reality. As a game, we cannot thank the Warriors enough for everything they are doing. Right from the start of this pandemic, the club and its players have put the competition first, and for that we will forever be thankful. A couple of other little stories off the wires as well. New South Wales Health Minister Braz Haddad has given a stern warning to the New Zealand Warriors ahead of their arrival in Australia tomorrow afternoon. The NRL has confirmed this morning that the Warriors received approval from the Australian Border Force to travel to Tamworth in regional New South Wales, where they will see out that mandatory 14-day quarantine period. Now, about 50 Warriors players and staff will get on a charter flight tomorrow, and that's basically today. It's pretty much the same story, really. Just in terms of wrapping up, Warriors CEO Cameron George said his team's players would be incredibly respectful of the rules and regulations in place for their return to Australia. We We are in no shape or form will be jeopardising any protocols or requirements put upon us to be based in Tamworth. I can assure the local community that all our players will abide by those rules and not threaten the well-being of the great community of Tamworth, he told one of the local papers. By virtue of the fact we are quarantined and can't leave, we have very strict measured programs in the next few weeks. Okay, we'll see how that plays out. Paul, that's it for league news today. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Richard. And we might have to get our reporter on the ground in Tamworth, Shane, to give us an update as to how the Warriors are received in there. We'll try and get a report from him for tomorrow's show. It'll probably be a recorded one. It's a little bit early in Australia when we go live with this. Actually not early because he's already actually worked by the time this goes out. So yes, we'll hopefully try and get an update on that. Just realised that I have to blame the producers, the editor and the writer for forgetting some of the football news. We've been talking about the return to play in Europe for a while now and how the FIFA medical officer suggested that the games should be cancelled. But it looks like the Bundesliga in Germany will be going ahead soon. They were expecting a decision by the government on the 30th of April, but that didn't happen. And the next meeting is on the 6th of May, and they're hoping to get back to play in May. They have 9 rounds left to play, plus any European Champions Cup, etc. games to play, and they're looking at getting it all wrapped up by the end of June. So that looks like it's going to be taking place over in Europe. Also, the Bundesliga, we had 3 games overnight, and Stephen from the Deep South will be happy that his side, Torpedo, went away to Minsk and beat them 2-5. A big drubbing there. Stephen from the far north will be less happy with his team, Gorandea, who went away to Rue Brest and drew 1-1. And that season dropped down to 7th in the table, whereas Torpedo have climbed up to 2nd. And then finally, my side, Sluts, travel away to Dynamo Minsk and beat them 1-2 to stay top of the table. So lots of action this weekend. We still have another 4 games overnight tonight, including Dynamo Brest travelling to Belashina, which is Ashwin's side. So we'll bring you all those results tomorrow morning, along with an update of the table as well. Moving on then to other news. Kiki Bertens was talking about her win at the Madrid Open on the PlayStation, and she said that her hands had hurt. She had been training so much on using the PlayStation controllers, and that some days she couldn't train because her hands were in so much pain. So if you're wondering about how competitive these tennis players are on about everything really, there you go. She only had a week and a half before the event to start practicing, but she took it out. Half the funds will be going back to her home country of the Netherlands for supporting the coronavirus battle there, and the other half will be going to lower ranked players to help them struggle, because players in tennis don't have contracts. They just get paid per tournament that they enter. And then finally, some happy news, as former Silver Fern Casey Kopa has announced that she's given birth to her 2nd child. Her son, William Rangitaki Murray Kopa, was born on Friday morning. So congratulations to Casey and her husband, Terry. Let's hope that William is doing well. That is her 2nd child now. She came out of retirement to help lead New Zealand to that World Cup win last year, and has decided that and has retired again since then. So congratulations, and let's hope the happy family are all doing well in their bubble. That is your news for today. You are up to date with all of the important news. It's the best way to start your day. Don't forget to join us, as I say, about that World Rugby news on Tuesday evening. Join the Hash Rugby Chat at 8 p.m. We'll be talking about that vote. We'll also be talking about New Zealand Rugby's finances, and also the Super Rugby review that is going on as well. So lots and lots of things to discuss on Tuesday night, and it does appear that if we're looking at the voting, I did a video for that on drivingmore.com a couple of days ago now. It does appear that the remaining votes all went Bill Beaumont's way. So definitely some interesting discussions there about why Fiji, Samoa, Canada, Japan, and possibly the Africa votes also all went down the Bill Beaumont route. But do join us then for that. And obviously we're back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with the morning sports briefing.